Very simply, I relocated to Gloucester when my parents returned from abroad, and around the corner was a motorcycle shop. And I acquired a friend who was already interested, and so we would wander around the corner and press our noses at the window and look in, and that led me to wandering around Gloucester by pedal cycle, looking at a variety of dealers. And very early on, I became interested in Velocette for, I think, a reason that's not easy to spell out. And the Velocette product wasn't that common in shops, and so I had to travel further afield. And so the early 60s saw me cycling to Hereford, Malvern, Bristol, Keynes Cross, all over the place, looking for velos. So that's how I got into Velocette. They struck me for some reason that's in my subconscious, and I followed them from ever on. Well, it started off at the turn of the century, into the 18th, into the 19th, when a German entrepreneur located to England and became anglicised and looked for a business venture, and he got involved in a variety of things and ended up amalgamating with a few other people, and eventually thought that motorbikes was a good thing to get into. As soon as they made something, it was worthy and a strong competitor from a quality point of view, reliability point of view, and they continued from then to innovate. And to paraphrase the title of another Velocette book by an old friend of mine, sadly now deceased, Jeff Clue, they were always in the picture in terms of being prominent in racing and in the variety of machines they sold. That would be way back in 1974, although I've been dabbling around with friends' velos long before then. My first one was 1974.
And which model was that?
It was a 1963 Venom Clubman, and I found it by chance. I spent a lot of time researching Velocette books, for Velocette for my book, but it took me a long time to track down the new owner, the previous owner, the guy who bought it from new. But he was reunited with it this year, having sold it, I think, in 1965. He came all the way over from Australia, patted it on the tank and said, "Sorry, it's been such a long time." I still have that machine, yes. It is fully roadworthy and taxed. It shares my affection with 7 other machines, so it has to take its turn. But yeah, it's still one of my favourite rides. Lots of things. They can expect a massive improvement in picture number, massive improvement in picture quality, and in particular material that covers a much bigger time span. I've managed to pick up lots of small anecdotal details and put in, plus a comprehensive analysis of the archives as well. And I'm pleased to be able to say I've had some collaboration with other historians, and their material is also incorporated into the book. The archive is significantly the one that I've built up over the years. I started collecting material way back in the early 60s. My loft currently groans under the material which I collected then and since. The majority of the reproduced catalogue material which you see is stuff which is actually belongs to me. There was a moment of mad impulse. I quite literally met Jeff Clue in a pub. He said he was looking for someone to write a book on Velocettes, which he didn't have time to write. And I said, I might have a go at that. And I remember going back home and saying to my missus, I'm going to write a book. And she said, hang on a minute, this programme finishes in 10 minutes. And that was the impact it had. That was way back in 1979. That was the first edition of my Velocette history. Of course, the current third edition reflects the huge improvements brought in year 2000 when I joined forces with Veloce to produce a much more high quality volume. I think it's become the Velocette book simply because it's gone through the editions, each edition reflecting an update, that there constantly seems to be material of interest stashed away somewhere in people's memories, and it seems to find its way to me. And as I've risen to prominence as an author in this area, so people direct the information in my direction. So I think it's because I continue to collect information and I'm not satisfied that the job is yet done. Well, I'm enthusiastic enough about the Velocette community to belong to the club. I also help form a new centre of that club, so I think that tells its own story. We attract members from a wide area. Our members travel to other areas. It's a good group to join. It's supportive, it's friendly, and although they like to see you turn up on a velo, they don't mind what you turn up on. It's people who matter, although the bikes are still, of course, a huge interest.